Hello, everyone.
Hello?
Did you hear me, Maria?
I can hear you. Should we give it a minute, or do you want to do roll call?
Oh, we might give it a minute.
Okay.
Is my mic working for you?
Yes, we can hear you, Bill.
Okay.
Can you guys see my screen?
I can see the slideshow.
Perfect.
Okay, I think we're ready.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and call the Parks meeting to order. It's at 4:01 on August 20th, 2020. We'll go down through and do a roll call here so we can see who all's here. Kelly from the city, are you here?
Yes.
Randy Dixon?
Yep, here.
Sean Gibbs? Patty Scott? Bill Davis?
Here?
Bill Otten? I see Bill on there. I think he's muted.
Okay, we'll mark him.
Sam Crawley?
Here.
Bev Myers? And Carmen Matthews. Okay, I think we have everybody that I can see on my screen. And it looks like, do we have Sammy Pearson as a guest?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. I think that's everybody that I can see, and the roll call for the Parks Commission. We'll go ahead and get started here. I don't think that we have enough people to approve the minutes.
You don't.
Okay, so we'll skip over that, and hopefully some other people will join us.
Sounds
So
good.
we'll move on down to citizen input, public comment.
And it doesn't sound like we're accepting them on the live feed anymore, so at this point we don't have any.
Okay, we will roll on down to new business, story walk in the park. Randy, and Sammy, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, Sammy brought together an idea here for the city to consider in the Parks Commission, so I'm going to let her take lead on it and explain it. Sammy?
Okay, thank you, Randy. Excuse me. The idea is it's twofold, is to get people reading, but also to get people exercising, especially little kids and families together. So the idea is a story walk with the book basically separated and put in different locations, as you can see from the map there. You basically break the book up and put it in multiple, obviously in order, so the story goes in order, but and make a walk and a story out of the whole production. So our proposal would be to put in stations, much like similar to those pictures that are there in that first page, that would have the pages of the story on it, and then that way people can progress down and be able to read and walk and enjoy the park. It's a pretty straightforward concept.
And
then,
Sammy, what type of
Sammy,
maintenance is required for this once it's installed?
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of your question, Randy.
I said, what kind of maintenance is required for once it's installed?
Well, the library and Library Foundation plan on paying for all the supplies to install it, and then basically we would use treated lumber and plastic covers, and so really pretty minimal maintenance, and any parts that need to be replaced, obviously the library would take care of.
Okay. So basically,
And
maintenance costs for upkeep would be the library would budget and maintain that through the city.
Correct. Yes, we wouldn't want to put any. I mean, this is not the intention. Is not to have parks pay for any
Okay.
of it. Basically, just a place we can put it.
Gotcha. I appreciate it.
And Sammy, is the intent to update the story periodically?
Right.
or-
It would be probably at least quarterly, if not more frequently. And we determined there would be, I think she marked about Becca marked about 16 sites on there. The average book would take about 16 of those in order to lay out the pages. If it were a shorter book, we could put, other information about, I don't know, library services at the end if it didn't fill up the entire. We wouldn't leave any of empty or blank or anything.
Okay. What happened?
Marianne, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, so we still have everybody on. There's no questions regarding Sammy's proposal here. Until we actually have enough members, we can't vote on this, Sammy, but as soon as...
Sure, no, that's fine.
If you're sitting in here and we're going through and we actually get enough, we might be able to take care of it today. If not, it'll be on the next round.
I do see that.
Okay, that's fine.
Carmen just signed in.
Oh, did he?
Yep.
So how many we got then now?
4.
Okay, we're not...
What is 7?
Yeah. So we got more than 50%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have more than 50% on board, so we can make a motion now.
I move to approve it.
Did we lose Bill Davis?
What?
Oh, he's there.
Oh, did we lose a
I'm
Bill
here.
Otten?
I
just texted that
unmuted
he
my
can't-
mic. Can you
Bill
hear me?
just-
Yes, we can hear you, Bill. Just a moment.
Okay.
So there's a motion on the floor, I believe. Carmen made the motion to approve the walk in the park. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
And for the sake of the fact that I can't see everybody and the ease of our first video conferencing, is there anyone who does not approve of this and would not vote in favor? Say aye, or state your name. With no objection, I will. The story walk in the park moves forward as approved unanimously, and we'll move on. Thank you, Sammy. I think it's a wonderful idea.
Well, thank you very much. I'm happy we can get started this. And I guess my question then is, next step, do I contact Randy, or this has to go to city council? I guess I'm not 100% sure what is next.
Well, with the recommendation of the Parks Commission, yes, a staff report will go to council recommending acceptance.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you very much. And actually, I'm going to stick around for your second thing because I'm interested in that too.
Thank you, Sammy.
Thank you, Sam.
Wouldn't this have to wait until after the dredging and stuff? Because those different places might be be a barrier to the work that's being done.
Yeah, I had that conversation. They can be relocated when we're ready, and then of course I would recommend they get put where it's not an impact to the pond right now. So there are other locations that we could put them while we do the rehab. In other words, we could start even at Empire Lakes, do enhancements there, and then move out to Mingus Pond when we're ready, or Mingus Park, I should say.
Okay.
So moving on to the next item, dangerous tree in Mingus Park. Randy, do you want to fill us in?
Okay, that's, if you recall, we tried everything we could to save it. Remember the sanitary sewer project that went through the park. The old tree that I'm talking about is the one up against the hill nearest the restroom. It's the biggest one that you can see. It's diseased. I don't think the sewer project did it any good, but bottom line is it's going to have to come out, and it's going to be a very big PR issue. I just bringing it to your attention. I will be taking it to the tree board, and then we will be requesting to remove it. It's really bad. It's decaying away. My fear is a good storm, it could land on somebody or create more damage. So I'm recommending that we remove it. I would like a motion.
Can I get a motion from someone for the removal of the dangerous tree?
This is Carmen.
I'll make that motion.
Can I get a second?
Carmen Matthews seconds.
For the sake of approval, do I have does anyone not approve of the tree removal? Hearing none, the motion approves unanimously.
Thank you. Next item, 5.3 is request for lending library in Mingus Park. Annie Forward had brought forward an idea to house some books in a controlled environment that protects the books, and it's on your display now. And it's a fairly new thing in not just our community, but through the U.S., and they're pretty active and they're pretty helpful for the communities. I think it's a wonderful idea. This also can be installed anywhere and relocated as we enhance Mingus Park. Annie would rather put it right here at Mingus Park now, and I don't see a problem with that because it can always be relocated. Annie had also said that she would maintain the literature, the books, update them accordingly, also maintaining the cabinet that it's in. So I think it's a wonderful idea. I'd like to get a motion to take it forward.
Sam Crowley will move it forward.
Thank you, Sam. Can I get a second?
Sean Gibbs will second.
Thank you, Sam.
Ariane, this is Carmen. I have to abstain, I believe, as Annie Pollard is my wife.
Except for Carmen abstaining, do I hear any no's for the lending library in Mingus Park? Hearing no, minus Carmen is abstaining, I hear that we will move forward with it unanimously approved, except for Carmen abstaining, and we'll for the approval of the lending library in Mingus Park. Yay! I think it's a great project.
Very good. And there will be a staff report that also goes to council. Let them know that this project is moving forward. Okay.
And then we've got Sean, you're here with us now.
Yes, I am. Apologies for being late.
Okay. Thank you. And then on the next new business, appointment for tree board representative.
That's correct. Tree board needs a representative from the Parks Commission on the tree board. So we would like one of you to volunteer, if you will.
It's been me for like the last 6 years, so somebody else can do it if you would like to.
I wouldn't mind if nobody else wants to.
Who is that?
This is Carmen.
All right, Carmen, sign him up.
Randy, and so I'm not sure if that means that, this is Ariane, I'm not sure if that means that my spot's removed or if I still continue on there. Just let me know.
You have to continue. Yeah, Ariane, you'll continue on until council appoints.
Okay.
So we'll let them know that Carmen has bellied up to the bar with it, so we'll let them know.
So, just so I know, I'm not taking your place, Ariane, am I?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's okay.
I don't want to do that if you're wanting to be there.
No, I think it's fine. I'm actually in a point where I need to step back from a lot of my committees, so I think that it works great that if you're interested in doing it.
Okay. So this is just a Parks Commission slot on the tree board, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
We always have a representative from the Parks Commission on the tree board. The nature of the relationship of right of way and park property and trees, they all come together.
I see. So is this something that I will have to be voted in on, or is it just an appointed thing from the Parks Commission?
No, it'll be appointed through council.
Through council. Oh, great.
Recommended through the Parks Commission.
Okay.
I think also, Carmen, as a downtown business owner, I think it's great for you to be on the tree board because a lot of the conversation centers around downtown trees and mapping and planning.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. So the last couple items, old business, Mingus Park project update. So we are at about 95% on our design for the dredging and whatnot of Mingus Park Pond and the fishing pier. So that's really coming along really nicely. In addition, we're in the process, that funding mechanism is scheduled from what I've seen on ODFW's site. It opens up, in fact, it opens up September, the grant process. And this is the 5th one. So this is the 5th cycle in their new biennium. So, well, in the new biennium, they're carrying that cycle over. So it's cycle 5. But bottom line is it opens up September, and then we have to have our grant application in by the end of December, I believe. And we'll get word of that activity probably around February. From what I'm hearing, through the grapevine, so to speak, it's all but a slam dunk. So everybody's supporting it, ODF wise. So everything's looking good on that end for that as well. So the 6.2 for the park development, 6.1 for Mingus Park itself, they are approximately 30% into design. And we had worked through the environmental side of it for what the water was, if you recall, in the south end of the park. So that did get addressed through the environmental, and we know where that spring is, and they're designing out what we need to do to raise the elevation there. So that's all looking really good. That grant for the OPRD, Oregon Parks and Recreation, will become available in 2021, probably January, February. And so my thought process is doubling up, like we had talked about, using ODFW grant as a match for the OPRD grant once we start pulling triggers. Today I received a call, interesting enough, that someone in the community, I'm not going to say right now, there's more information that wants to come out, but they would like to donate some serious dollars to the playground activity, and they heard that we're going to be rehabbing it and they want to get involved. So as we go through the design and we pick out the equipment, I'll be sending the spreadsheet to the individual, and they will choose what equipment they want to pick on it. And they've asked that the Parks Commission look at the equipment that they do choose, and we create a plaque in recognition for the playground donation, whenever that is. And I said that is our policy, and I would be bringing it to you all once we get down that road. So that's what I can tell you there. On 6.2, possible park development locations, if you recall, that was the map that I showed you with the baseball complex, and we left that just before COVID-19 hit us all. We were in discussion for that sports complex. And so this is the complex up there by the wastewater facility that we had talked about, and it'd be easy access in and out. And I guess if we're really supportive on this, what I need to know is, are we ready to move it forward to discussion with council?
This is Commissioner Matthews. I am fully in support of moving forward with a ball field complex here. So What's a proper step for us to do today to maybe get the ball moving?
Well, right now, we just need to identify a location. I think that's the first step here. And I think this is a really logical location. I like the location. The position is perfect. Easy access to and for from Highway 101. And there's ample room, and it can handle, pretty much a clover complex. And I also believe this location, in relationship where City Hall is and most of your offices and maintenance, that also adds to an area that possibly we could get our shops out of a floodplain and build a building out there, which would be handy for maintenance and activity for the facilities. So I would like to push this up to council as a feasible location. The property is already owned, city and the water board. So it's not like we have to acquire property. We may need to sit down and discuss this property, obviously, with the water board in the nature of whatever fears they have. So I'll leave that out for discussion.
This is Ariane. Are both properties water board, or is one city and one's water board?
The one all the way over to the first one to the right of your screen is water board and / city property. The one to your left is city property only. But the challenge there, obviously, we would need to develop a road all the way from Ocean Boulevard in between FedEx and Cascade Farm and Garden to set up on a parking lot that would be acceptable for Cloverfield. Now, the one on the right already has a road access. Up where it bends, that first bend, we would need to put in probably about a 500-foot road to the parking lot, and then your ball field. Good thing about it is a lot of utilities are already there in existence.
So at this moment, the one on the waterboard property, the image to the right off of Ocean Boulevard, is more set up than the other spot, but still at the same time, both of them are applicable.
Yeah. The biggest challenge, like I said, Carmen, to the one on the left is, getting easement from FedEx and Cascade Farm and Garden, because there is no right of ways there. So we would have to obtain one or an easement and maybe realign that access point.
A quick question would be the development that's going on off of Lindy Lane,
Yeah.
which is, I believe, behind FedEx. That will be providing access to a lot of traffic. I believe at some point there probably have to be a stoplight there. Is that something we could go off?
There's actually a light at the Cascade Farm and Garden, but yeah, you're talking about down by Lindy Lane. I can see the Lindy Lane access right below FedEx there. It's that small right of way, and it dead ends right to the property owners are the same folks that own that development.
Yep.
So there's no landlocked there, but it certainly puts a complex right next to the big development too. So problem is, like I say, there's no access unless we wanted to get an easement now off of Lindy Lane at the very end. But I think that's going to be challenging because I don't believe that development's going to want cars coming through their new developed area. You know what I'm saying?
I get you. Yeah, I get you. I'm just wondering. I mean, there will be a lot of residential population at that location. Like basically just adjacent to the ball field, to the proposed ball field location. which would be nice for a lot of those families to be able to have access to that facility. But the access is an issue for sure.
Sure.
This is Ariane. Is there any possibility for, I know that the development on Lindy just received its approval, but working with them for the main access to be as it's shown in the photo here? I know a lot of the neighborhood contention on that development, and I am one of those neighbors that has some issues with that development, full disclosure. But I think that there is some of the concern is Lindy being very difficult and narrow road that they're going to be dumping an incredible amount of money into to widen to make it feel safer. Would it be more beneficial for that developer to have an access point as shown that goes to the park and then use Lindy as a secondary access? I know there's a lot of concerns from a lot of people and emergency services with it being only one access point into Lindy.
That's a good point, Arian. Yeah, I would say, but I'm not sure that you as a commission would want to entertain thorough traffic through a sports complex to a residential area. I mean, you draw, this is a community park, remember, not a residential park, so you're trying to draw from a crowd, not everybody, but typically you don't punch a road in a residential to your complex. You know, you have main thoroughfares coming to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, my thought was that the main road access to the residential would be the road that goes to the park. So instead of having people going down Lindy to the park, it would be the road that's shown along Cascade and FedEx, which is more of an industrial area that can handle the traffic loads for the park.
I got what you're saying. Well, now that could be an enhanced, that could be that was something that could be discussed with the developer, that if this was a viable location, and if the city is able to get easement by FedEx and Cascade Farm and Garden. See, the main thing is where that alignment is right now, where you see the road going all the way up to Ocean Boulevard, doesn't exist right now. That intersection where you enter right now at Cascade Farm and Garden with a light would get relocated up in part of the development. You see what I'm saying? And then
yes,
your access would be right there to everything. You know, it would be more like an industrial complex going to a sports complex, just like you mentioned, Mary.
And so, to me, that makes more sense. Ocean Boulevard is such a strange road anyway, because we have all of these three-way intersections, which are incredibly inefficient. And so by utilizing a light source that we already have or just slightly relocating, I think makes a lot more sense. Plus, if we've got a developer that's already planning on spending a lot of dollars to develop that road, why not utilize those dollars for the road to the park and then maybe have some, they don't have to develop Lindy nearly as much, maybe just pave it. And then that would be a savings for them on that. They get their two accesses. I think it could be a win-win.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it would be a great deal. The thing of it is, if that was the thought process there where you see the parking lot, then I would put a wider right of way. We would have to either obtain the easement from FedEx and extend that, down to this, I guess it would be to the west until you hit the right of way there where Lindy Lane is. You know what I mean? Make that a loop circle.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're feeding the ball complex, you're meeting Cascade Farm and Garden, and you're meeting FedEx. And then you're looping back around to Lindy Lane into the subdivision, if this is the choice that we were to go. Now, there's a lot more involved, I'm going to tell you right now, with that choice than there is with the one on the right.
I do have to say that there is a lot more involved. My concern when we get into waterboard property, because waterboard is just not Coos Bay it's Coos Bay and North Bend. And if my memory serves me correctly, and this is going back 20 years, when they've discussed deleveraging water board property before, it's not gone well. And again, that's a memory from a long time ago, and a lot of stuff has changed.
Sure. There has been property transfer from water board to the city on different locations. I don't think it's a big issue, but it can happen. Our government would be the only one concerned about that because this is the water, or this is the land that the city and the water board owns. Keep in mind, water board's funded through the city, so the property is donated through the city to the water board for care. But either way, I'm saying the one on the left will require easements, communication, signal relocation. So your involvement and cost is going to be more than the one on the right.
Yeah, I think they're both good options.